Hey Dom, this is Dave Desai. Today we're going to be talking about some alleged claims that were made against HYBE, so trigger warning for that. We also have people believing what BTS's response is and BTS just getting dragged in general. And then BTS also making non-Korean music. So hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on. T-Spilling Mug merch, and let's get into it. Let's start with something a little lighter. If you aren't aware, BTS released their Swoozoom DVD. This DVD is just the behind the scenes stuff and videos that would not otherwise be seen. Content that is likely, if not put it on a DVD, would have just been deleted. So the stuff you'd see on the Bangtan YouTube channel, but more intimate and more fun stuff. It's things that you would enjoy if you're an ARMY, but if you're not, it would seem boring. Stuff like what BTS already does, like their Run BTS series, Bon Voyage, and In the Soup, are some of the many reality type shows that they do that are for the fandom. And if you want to react to some of those with me, I have a full playlist on my Patreon, a link down below to check it out. There were some scenes from the Swoozoom online concert that BTS did a while back. This concert was during the midst of the pandemic and had no live audience. But just because there wasn't a live audience doesn't mean that the boys are going to be relaxed and put on a half-effort show. There were scenes in the DVD where the boys were seen getting ready for the show. V even asked Jungkook to teach him how to learn a cartwheel, and V said that it's his dream to do it. This was for one of the dance breaks. V did eventually learn the cartwheel and it was awesome. V did it for the dance break in Chicken Noodle Soup and he nailed it. It looked so professional and good. The best feeling ever is when you practice something so much, and even if you're practicing, you may not know or feel there's a difference or any improvement, but it's literally just one day when you wake up and everything you practice just clicks and suddenly you got it. So never give up, keep trying even if it appears like nothing's improving. So if you don't know, during the Swoozoom concert, all of the members collectively performed J-Hope's song Chicken Noodle Soup. This is the song with Becky G, and Becky G is probably one of the most renowned Latin artists. So of course BTS did not shy away from including Latin parts in the performance, and RM and Jimin came out during the middle of the performance and gave us a Spanish rap. It was beautiful. Because they barely know English, and to then start rapping in Spanish is quite interesting. I couldn't really understand what they were saying. I can understand and read Spanish decently, but they're obviously rapping, so it's too fast for me. And even rap in English, I can't understand sometimes when it's too fast. So I can't tell if their Spanish pronunciation is really good or not, but if you speak Spanish well, let me know. Later, BTS members did talk about the show and the performance. Apparently, V also was trying to learn the Spanish part and took some time to learn it, but ultimately didn't end up doing it for the performance. Maybe he didn't feel comfortable doing it, or he spent most of his time trying to learn the cartwheel. Either way, everyone tried something new and it surprised everyone. Cartwheel, Spanish, all very cool. But this wasn't all, and the shocking part didn't stop there. I think it was an ARMY that had brought up this performance during a V-Live, and then this idea that if BTS should go ahead and make a Spanish song. BTS had no problem memorizing English lyrics, and maybe they didn't even fully understand the English lyrics, but just memorized it. They could do the same with a Spanish song. Maybe even have Becky G write it. So this was really cool to hear that RM not only said that he was down, but was down to even say that maybe he'd consider entering the Latin market. Very exciting to fans. What BTS has done isn't even just bring more exposure to Korean music and Korean culture, but bring this idea that music, all different languages, can still be good. There hasn't been a mainstream artist that has songs in so many different languages. BTS has songs in Chinese, Japanese, Korean, English, and now possibly Spanish. And this is a crazy good discography. Some people have been worried that BTS may never do Korean music again after that, but what do you think? Would you be excited for a Spanish song? Are you scared that BTS won't do Korean music if they spent their time doing other languages? Or are you more like me where you don't care? You'll listen to it regardless of the language. I'm so happy to hear about the possible new endeavors. I think BTS would highly consider this as well. I think they're smart businessmen too, and the Latin market is huge, and huge with a capital H. I think they'd be very smart to move over there. From what I've seen, there is some discrimination with certain groups of Latin music listeners to some Asian artists, but I think having more Asian artists in the space will change that. But let's hope HYBE allows for this. HYBE has been under some serious backlash lately for the last few months. One of the labels under HYBE was looking to debut a new girl group, and I will get more into that soon, but I need to preface something. Let me explain the structure of HYBE a little bit in case you don't know. This is at least what I'm aware of and what I know, but this could very much be different now. However, this just gives you an idea of how much is under HYBE. That is the important takeaway. HYBE has all these different sectors like real estate, management, tech stuff, and their American management companies. And as you can see, HYBE is more of what they call a holding company, which is a big umbrella company that just holds all the other companies under it. For example, Google is the brand that we all know, YouTube also, and they are their own brand. They run as their own company, but there is a company that owns both of them called Alphabet. Alphabet is a holding company and not public facing. We typically don't ever refer to Alphabet because the company doesn't really do anything. It just holds all the other companies under it for legal goodwill, tax, and maybe also stock reasons. It's just easier to say HYBE and refer to all the other companies under them than it is to name each individual company sometimes. Remember this, I will come back to this. Now, Source Music is one of the labels under HYBE. They're attempting to debut a new girl group, and there was some serious backlash among this girl. I don't know how a lot of this information came out, but there were allegations and alleged claims that one of the girls that is in the girl group named Kim Garam was a big bully in school, and then claims of her having a restraining order at 12, and just a lot of this stuff that was being reported by news sites and spread by people on Twitter. Who knows what's real and what isn't. HYBE very quickly came out and recently just denied everything. They claimed that they were going to take legal action on these people saying these claims, and that they will be releasing their official statement on the situation shortly. Obviously, they can't release it yet without knowing all the details. They're likely looking into it. If HYBE is saying that it's untrue, I have no reason to not believe them right now. I do believe them. Oftentimes in K-pop, we have seen photoshopped quote-unquote evidence literally get taken out of context and made into a big thing, and then people later, months or years later, realize that these claims were bogus and photoshopped. This happens all the time. When we see claims this outrageous, it can be fake. And if it's true, then HYBE would look dumb for blatantly claiming it's fake, and they'd have more to lose if they lie. Why would any investor invest in a company that has lost their public trust? HYBE wouldn't knowingly lie. Also, I find it quite difficult to believe that a company wouldn't do a big background check on their artists before signing them, but you know what? That's my opinion. Let's see what happens next. However, while this is a big deal and big claims of bullying, it didn't just stop at that. So remember how I was talking about how big HYBE is. HYBE was being blamed, and suddenly so was BTS. It was referred to online as HYBE and BTS synonymously. Now, the issue of if BTS owns any part of HYBE, yes, BTS does, but mainly the big hit music part. I don't know how involved BTS is in Source Music, one of the other labels of Big Hit that has Kim Garam in it. You get me? Like, if I own YouTube, which is a part of Alphabet, I wouldn't own Google and or could control anything Google does. I just own that one bit of the big company. So BTS was being blamed for this bullying thing because people believe BTS owned Source Music too. There were claims that BTS is a part of this and they should know better. But again, this is a ridiculous claim that is reaching. There was a lot of tweets asking BTS and of course their leader RM to file to leave for HYBE once and for all. And then even people trying to say that Big Hit is not a part of HYBE and that they will be their own label soon and operate as their own label. But this is what bothers me. Can we stop trying to separate our boys from these quote unquote company issues? Like, yes, our boys don't need to be a part of these scandals and aren't, but they also don't need to be mentioned and then try really hard to distance themselves from anything ugly. Don't you see how funny it is how Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande are also a part of HYBE, and yet no one is trying to separate them from HYBE because their fans understand that reality is ugly sometimes and or don't care about what the company does, only the artist. Can we have that same respect for BTS too? Just like Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande are their own artists and they act independently from their company. If their label or management has a scandal, you never see a Justin Bieber leave your label start to be tweeted. My issue is if BTS does one day get into some rough waters, it's going to shock everyone so much that there will be people who hurt themselves over it, and I'm not being dramatic. This has happened. It's because the fandom tries to hide anything remotely that could be seen as not perfect, that when something does come out that isn't perfect, because that's life, it crushes some of these people's reality or what they thought was reality, and they hurt themselves or send death threats to the person that crushed their reality. And their reality is so fragile, it's scary. For example, the fandom tried so hard to hide any Taeyang and Jennie interaction that when V accidentally followed Jennie, she got death threats because some of those fans of reality is that BTS wears some sort of female repellent or something. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos, link down below. Thanks for this lovely comment right here. Love you, bye.